Hello everyone, and a big welcome back to the Wee Larder channel. I'm going to be doing a new style of video today, so I'm going to be doing a wee day in the life style of video. I'm going to take you guys along with me while I make some bread. We're hopefully going to get out into the garden to see the chickens and do some planting. So I hope you enjoy this video. It's completely unplanned. There might be things that I might change it a little bit. I have no sort of proper schedule for this video, but those are the things I'm hoping to do so far. Mary is currently in the kitchen walking around pretending to be a sheep, so you might also hear some bang in the background as well. She has a new super fluffy jumper that she got from Grandma for her birthday, so she is loving that and she's pretending to be a wee lamb. So yeah, there's just going to be noise in the background. It's going to be a normal day in my kitchen, but I just wanted to welcome you guys into the Wee Larder kitchen, and I wanted to take you guys along with me to see what I get up to in my kitchen a little bit more. So although I have my instructional videos, I love doing those and they are my passion. I just want to share a little bit more with you guys about the things that I use in my cooking and my gardening and things and what I'm doing outside. So I'm hoping to do a wee garden tour soon as well. So for now, I'm going to get started on my bread. So we're going to make a bread recipe first of all. So I'm going to be doing a fruit and nut bread with some oats and things. Now I've kind of have a rough idea how I'm making the recipe, but the recipe might change a little bit when I go to put it on my blog, but I will put the full recipe up on my blog when it is finished as well, and I'll share over on Instagram as well. So be sure to pop over to Instagram and follow me on there if you're not already, because I do share recipes on my blog and Instagram that I don't share on YouTube because I can't get everything out in video. Otherwise I would be editing all day every day. So yeah, so you might find new recipes over there as well. I'm still working on my cookbook as well, by the way, and I'm hoping to get that out to you guys very soon. So I'm going to be making some fruit and nut bread today, and I'm going to be adding some oats and honey into it as well. I'm just tying my apron here. So I'm actually using this flour from Scotland the Bread. So I've been looking forward to using this for a while. I'm just going to read a little bit about them on the side because they're a really good organisation or company to buy from. So Scotland the Bread is a community-owned project to revive a wheat and bread supply that is locally controlled, healthy and fair for both people and the environment. We bring on historic Scottish varieties and other diverse wheats and rye that are resilient, productive under organic husbandry, measurably more nutrient dense and simply good to eat. And they train community bakers in the fulfilling work of turning grain from nearby fields into nourishing and digestible bread. So I just really liked the whole idea behind Scotland the Bread, so I want to support them by using their flour. So it's not sponsored, this video, in any way by any of these products that I'm using today. I just want to share them so that you can find out about them as well. So this is a wholemeal fine flour that I'm going to be using in this bread that I'm making. I'm actually also going to be using some porridge oats from Hamlin's. So this is one of my favourite places to buy oats. They're quite local to me as well. So I'm going to be using those, and I'm also going to be using this really nice bread mould. I actually got this from Scotland the Bread, so I hope it kind of comes out in my bread a little bit. The Celtic design on the... I'm not sure what the proper name is for the bread mould, but I hope it comes out on the bread itself. So this is the first time I have used this mould. So, and I should say as well, I am no expert when it comes to making bread, but I really want to try and make more bread in the kitchen for the family, just so that we are using more whole foods in our diet and reducing any unnecessary ingredients from shop bought bread and things. So I'm going to start by making this recipe by dissolving the yeast into the water, and the yeast that I am using I'm just going to get from the fridge. So I'm actually using fresh yeast. It's from BioReal fresh yeast, so I like to buy this fresh yeast here. I have been using fresh yeast for quite some time now. I just find it's like so much more reliable than dried yeast. I don't know if it's because I'm not storing my dried yeast properly, or if it's just something that I'm doing wrong, which it could be possible. So I like to buy this online. It's quite difficult for me to get this locally, but I've bought it from Amazon before. I bought it from Shipton Mill, and I've also bought it from a company called Bakery Bits or something like that. I'll see if I can get a link and pop it in the description box below for those places. I mean, obviously we all know where how to get to Amazon, but I'll see if I've got some links for Shipton Mill and the bakery bits. So this is my fresh yeast that I'm going to be using, and we're going to start by dissolving that in the water as well. And this is another little book actually that I got from Scotland the Bread as well, and it's all about sourdough. So I am really trying my best to sort of research and try and get a productive sourdough starter on the go. I have tried in the past without like sort of reading too much about it, and I failed. So this time I'm going again all prepared, and I'm using this little book here to find out more about sourdough, how to use it, the types of recipes and things that I can make with it. So I really want to try and get my sourdough starter going again properly and get my sourdough bread on the go. So you might see me trying to make sourdough bread in one of my future day in life videos as well. So I'm going to get started on this recipe. We're going to start by dissolving our yeast in our water. So I'm pouring in 800 mils of warm water. So you just want it like warm to the touch, nothing too hot. We're just going to crumble in 50 grams of fresh yeast. So I'm just weighing out my yeast here. So I'm just crumbling this in. Do you want to mix it, Mary?
Yeah.
Mary's currently sitting beside me having a bowl of Cocoa Pops. See, we don't always eat homemade whole foods in this house as much as I'd love it if we did, but yeah, sometimes it just doesn't happen, I'm afraid.
I can mix it, Mummy.
Okay, you can mix it. So you can go and get your step and we'll get a whisk for you, okay? Okay?
I can do it.
Okay. So we're just going to dissolve that like so. You can give it a wee mix if you want.
I'm doing my step.
So you'll get the full recipe in the link below. I might change it ever so slightly, just depends how it goes with this recipe as I'm making it today. But I'm adding in 2 tablespoons of honey now. I like to use raw honey, but I don't actually have that available, so I'm just using some runny honey here. We're just going to give that, yeah, we're just going to give that a good mix through again, aren't we?
Can you mix it, Mummy?
Mary's just getting over chicken pox, just in case you wonder why she's a bit spotty. Aren't you, Mary?
Yeah.
We're adding in 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And you can see I don't often measure things. I just kind of, well, I don't guess, I just kind of know what, what it looks like from cooking so much. I might be putting a little bit too much there, but it should be okay. We're then going to add in our salt, so we're adding in 10 grams of salt here, so I'm just going to weigh that out.
Mommy?
Yes, darling?
Well, I can't put my finger in there.
So we're just going to pour our salt in. If you just mix that through, Mary. And I like using this Isle of Skye sea salt. It is really good. If you can get your hands on this, give it a try. It is such a unique product. I love using it. It's really nice on tatties and stuff as well. Okay, so we're just going to add in our oats, our flour, and our fruit and nuts now. So we're just going to do the rest of this recipe.
Round and turn it into bread. What kind of bread is it, Mummy?
I just think it's great as well, getting the little ones involved in the kitchen just from like a really young age as well. It just kind of teaches them, inspires them to try their own things in the kitchen when they get older, and that's what I found with my oldest and with my others as well, that they learn from what they do and what they see, and so it's great to get them involved in your cooking when you can as well. I know it can be stressful at times, but
Mommy, it looked like that. A slug. Mommy.
it's because these dates are so squishy. I'm actually just pulling them apart with my fingers, but you can chop them up if they're a little bit drier for putting in this bread recipe.
Mom, is that raisins?
Raisins, yep. Okay, we're just adding the nuts after spending ages chopping them up. So if you can buy your nuts pre-chopped, I would do that. So we've got everything in there now, and we're just going to give this a really good mix through, aren't we, Mary? Yeah. We're going to have to get stuck in with her hands. Hey, you probably won't want to do that, will you?
I'm to do it.
I'm going to clear up a bit and put some flour down so that we can knead this dough. I went for my trusty KitchenAid in the end, just because I don't have lots of time to knead dough. And I find it is so much easier in here, so I'm going to just put it in here for 5 to 10 minutes. The scissor. I'm just adding a little bit of olive oil into my bowl here. I've actually cleaned it, and I'm just going to give that a wee wipe through just to take the excess off. And I like to put a little bit in my hands as well, just for handling the dough. Just find it helps with the stickiness, because I don't want to add like too much extra flour. I don't want it to become too tough, because I have been guilty of doing that in the past. So I'll get my dough out here. I'm just going to pop it all into, oh goodness me. Goodness me, Mary.
It's sticky.
It's very sticky, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I actually got this from my sister, but it's actually from Wax Wrap, I believe is the company. So if you're looking for it, it's waxwrap.com. So we're going to leave that in a warm place on top of the cooker for an hour. So I'm just through in the conservatory now while my bread is rising, my dough is rising for an hour. These are the seeds behind me that I've actually managed to like sort of keep alive. I am definitely a cereal plant killer. That is for sure. But so I'm going to try. I have been harding them off. They are sitting back in the conservatory just because it is super windy today. But I've been hardening them off out on a step all week last week for an increasing amount of time. So hopefully they should be ready to go out. They need a little bit of water actually. I've got some, these I think are yellow courgettes that I'm growing here. Me and Mary have our sunflowers, which seem to have gone a bit wibbledy wobbledy. But I think that was probably because they were struggling for a bit of water. Everything got a bit neglected when Mary had chicken pox. Everything and everyone apart from Mary, because it was just really hard going when she wasn't feeling well. But I'm sure they'll come back. So these are our sunflowers here. That's more, all the ones in the middle that look like this are the yellow courgettes, I think. So they're looking really healthy. And over here we've got some more peas. I actually have some more peas up in the greenhouse, which I've survived surprisingly. most things up in the greenhouse kind of died, but never mind. And we've got some salad here as well, which I am growing for sandwiches and things. I just love this salad. I absolutely love it. It is so tasty. And it's a really like sort of thin leaf that it, I mean, this is it in bigger stage actually. It's just a really light salad. I just really like it. I love it in a sandwich. It's so tasty. Don't ask me what it's called. I'm not too sure. These are pumpkins here, which I grew from an organic pumpkin. I just love the pumpkin that I got from this organic farm, so I cut it in half, took the seeds out, and they grew really well. So I'm going to put those in my pumpkin patch, which I have outside. I've got some tomatoes here, which are tiny. Some of my plants my seeds just took forever to grow. I don't know why, but these are so far behind. I'm not sure if I'm even going to get tomatoes from them this year, but I have some herbs here. This is, I think it's coriander or parsley. I'm sure it's coriander. Just smelling it. It doesn't have a very strong smell at the moment, but this is definitely basil and it smells amazing already. All these little tiny basil leaves. I can't wait to have in like a little salad with mozzarella and tomato. I got some young chives here. They've grown really well as well. And this is just some salad that I grew inside just for a little experiment. We've got some more peas here. And we have some chili plants which are also really tiny. I don't know if they just really struggled for water in the conservatory or what happened to them. They just haven't grown very fast. I'm just putting these blinds down because they do get a little bit fried in the sun in the conservatory if the blinds are up, so that just helps to keep them happy. And over here we have our broad beans, which are looking a little floppy, but it's just because they were out in the wind and they got a little bit battered. So I've just taken them in before I was doing my breads, but they are looking really good, really healthy, quite tall as well. I'm sure saw a flower growing there. And over here we have more of this lovely salad and another random pumpkin here. And we have some broccoli here, which is like so tiny, or it could actually be kale. I'm not too sure. I think it's broccoli, but it's so tiny. I'm not sure if it's going to come to anything this year, but I'm going to try and grow it in the greenhouse once it's finished. And here we've got a random salad seed in there as well. So those are all of my lovely seeds which I'm going to get out into the garden. Probably not today because it is looking wild out there. It is like crazy. It is super windy outside, so I'm going to have to roll my day in the life over to tomorrow for the garden. It is just so windy. So yeah, we're hopefully going to get some planting done tomorrow with the seeds. I'm just popping in a little bit of oats into my bread bowl here. I'm going to make sure it's well floured around the side. And because I've got so much dough mixture, I think I'm only going to put half into this bowl. So I probably could half the recipe. I'll make some notes of that when I do my blog post. So I've got my my dough here, and as you can see, it is huge. It's actually stuck a little bit to the top. So another tip is you can oil your cling film or your, in my case, the beeswax, so that it doesn't stick to the top of this. So it's absolutely huge. I'm going to take half of it and put it into my my mold here. I'm just going to knead it as well, just for a minute or so in my hands. So once you've kneaded it for a few more minutes, you should have something that looks like this. And it's basically ready to go into the bread mold. So I'm going to pop it in with the smooth side down. I'm just going to put a little bit more flour in there. I really don't want this to stick to the mold. And this is the first time I've used this actually, so bear with me. Okay, here we go. We're going to pop that in there. I'm just going to oil the other side of my beeswax paper. And I'm just going to pop that down on top of my dough there. So I'm just going to push it gently into the sides a little. So this time I'm just going to leave it for 30 minutes to rise. I'm going to pop it back into the same warm place. I might put a little bit of flour in here as well. I don't think I needed to do that, but hey. So we're just going to leave that to rise again for 30 minutes. So I've still got a little bit of dough left. Seriously, if you don't need this much bread, you could just make like half of this recipe. But I'm going to make some little bread rolls. So I'm just going to split that in half.
Oh, damn it, it's not fit.
So I'm going to do my first loaf in here. Just putting a little bit of oil in there. Okay, I probably put a little bit too much actually. I'll take some of that out and put it into my other pan that I'm using. But in short, so I'm going to bake this at 220, that's for fan, for 10 minutes, and then I'm going to bake for 20 to 25 minutes at 200. So we're going to go and pop this in the oven. My buns have risen up really well, so I'm going to pop these in the oven. I think I'm going to do 5 minutes at 220 and 15 at 200, but I'll confirm that in my blog post recipe what I did exactly. We've actually rolled into another day because I couldn't get outside yesterday. It was so windy, and it's still a little bit windy today, but it is a lot better, so I hope you guys are hearing me okay. And we're going to try and get some of our seeds planted in today. Mary has her little garden set that she got for her birthday, so she's going to be using that. I'm not sure if that's going to be helping or not, but I just think it's really good fun to get them involved in the garden and like to show them where their food comes from and stuff as well. And although she's quite little and doesn't fully understand that, I just noticed that there are 2 chickens escaped. 2 chickens have escaped and are currently trashing up my pumpkin bed. So I'm going to cut this short and I'm going to go and get those guys out of there. And I'm going to get started on our planting. I'll maybe show you some of the other hens as well. They're a bit scruffy at the moment because they've been rescued from I think it was a free range, I'm not going to say factory, but like a barn. So they're kind of just seeing their retirement out here instead of going to slaughter. So yeah, they better be good for me if they're going to be wrecking my garden then. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, so I'm actually in the hen house with the chickens. I just slammed the door shut actually. Gosh, could you imagine if I got locked in here? It's actually, the wind is picking up again outside, but we have managed to get some of our seeds planted. So we planted our sunflowers. So me and Mary are hoping to grow some giant sunflowers this year. And we've also planted some of our yellow courgettes as well. So we've popped those into the 2 boxes outside the greenhouse. So those are kind of like Mary's little boxes. She loves gardening. She loves digging and all those kinds of messy things. So we planted radishes and rainbow carrots in one of the other boxes. So those are really nice, colourful things to plant for the kids, and it's something for them to get a bit excited about as they grow. We've also got some pumpkins. She gets really excited about pumpkins. She was so excited about them last year. So we're going to pop those, we pop those into pots, and we're also going to pop those out into the garden once we have a little bit more room. So we've got a lot of tidying up to do still in the garden. We haven't got as much done as we'd hoped. The weather's been kind of on and off. We've had a lot of sunshine, but we've had a lot of rainy days as well. So we've still got some things to do in the greenhouse. I've got some tomato plants coming in here as well. I'm going to do a full garden tour next week, I think it is, in my schedule. So I will show you guys around properly and show you everything that we've got going on in the garden. But for now, that is our seeds in. We've got some things in. I'm going to put a little bit of wood chip and some grass on the top just to hold the moisture into the soil. It's just a really good way to stop things drying out. And that will be us for the day, and then we're going to go and collect our eggs and sort out our chickens again. They have been a nuisance this morning. They have been escaping and all sorts of things. So yeah, we're gonna go and do that, and I'm gonna tidy up the greenhouse a little bit more and try and get ready for these tomato plants that are coming, because I actually killed my tomato plants. So I've got some new ones coming on Friday. I'm hoping to get some other things from the garden centre as well, so we'll see what happens there. Mom's just going to take some of these weeds out that I've gotten in the box. Take all of these out. Not many, but there's some forage that likes to grow everywhere. These are our little seeds, aren't they?
Mommy,
Yeah.
what these ones?
I think those ones might be dead.
No, some are right. See? This one is
Oh
alright.
yeah. Yeah.
Really thirsty.
I think they're past thirsty. Some other pumpkins here.
I love pumpkins.
Oh.
Maybe we can have that for lunch.
Well, it's not ready.
Oh, there's some in there.
So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my first day in life video. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you click the little bell next to it, I'll see you guys again soon. If you enjoy traditional Scottish recipes, pop over to my website and pick up a copy of my free traditional Scottish cookbook. That's 10 of my favourite recipes in there. And if you're on Instagram, pop over and say hello, and there's also recipes over there as well, and also more recipes on my blog. So take care, lots of love, bye bye.